First of all, I want to say hello, everybody. Welcome all of our listeners on the Real Talk for Coaches podcast. I am your host, Dr. Dawn C. Reid, or Coach Dawn. You guys know who I am because y'all listen all the time. And I am excited. First of all, this next wonderful young woman, I have been able to work with her previously. She's been on the show before. I consider her a friend of the show. And you guys know how I do. I let my guests tell you who they are and how you can find them on social media, because I always say, look, you can talk about yourself way better than I can talk about myself. So then I can talk about you. So I want you, my darling, to introduce yourself, tell people who you are, how they can find you, what you could do before we get started. And I'm very excited to have this wonderful sister friend on the discussion today. So you take it away, my dear.
Ooh, I don't even know how to introduce myself after that. My cheeks are like, ooh, thank you, sister. Thank you for the love. I love you. So, hey, world. Hey, my name is Atiba Page. As Coach Dawn said, I am a sister friend to the show. I am so happy to be back here for a second time to talk more of what we can do to get in spaces that we're normally not in. Normally, you can find me Atiba Page on LinkedIn or chroniccuties.com. So I can't wait. Like, I don't even want to keep talking about myself. I'm so excited about this discussion.
We got a good discussion. Like, this is a really good discussion, especially in honor of Black History Month, especially in really trying to promote Black coaches. And people know I'm very diverse. It's not just about Black coaches, but it's like just the diversity in coaching. And one of the things that, I really started thinking about, because I belong to a couple of uh, coaching groups, and different ones. Some of them are very diverse. Some of them are predominantly white. Some of them are predominantly Black, right? And one of the things that struck me when I'm having these conversations is I hear people say things like, I was the only Black coach in my training program, or where can I find other Black coaches? Or why can't I hire a good Black coach, right? To connect with. And I was like, well, okay. And then I had to sit back, my girl, Tiva, I had to sit back and go, okay, yeah, I was the only Black person in my training class.
Often.
Okay, I am very few persons of color in the International Coaching Federation. And it's not that ICF isn't diverse. It's not that ICF doesn't have a very diverse message. They do. They do. But I'm like, okay, so where are we? Where are Black coaches? So the first question I wanted to propose and provide you, what are some barriers you think Black coaches are facing that prevent or challenge our visibility? Like, why can't you find us? What's going on? Like, what are your thoughts?
We need to work on our accessibility.
Mm-hmm.
So, my personal motto is language equals access.
Mm.
So, in order for my community to even understand what it is that I'm able and I'm ready to offer, I need to give them access to what this even is.
Interesting.
So, and then also, in order to do that, I have to be a little bit uncomfortable. For those that don't know, I've grown up in Somerset, New Jersey my entire life. So
I'm familiar
Somerset
with
is, yeah,
Somerset.
like that's my whole life. Like, and so we're used to diversity.
Yeah.
Like my graduating class was 400, but it was very diverse.
Yep.
So we become very comfortable with being the only or so and so because we're taught that we know that that's not what our community is. No matter what, if I'm the only in this room, I can run back home to my community and go, hey guys, I'm the only, what are you so and so? So we're comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Mm.
Those that are haven't been exposed to as much diversity as we have usually find it hard or overwhelming to
Mm-hmm.
be in uncomfortable situations as the only.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah,
That is
like that
true.
could be overwhelming, especially with everything that we have going on right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that can
Yeah.
be mentally challenging.
It can be. And
Mhm.
I think there's a lot of truth to what you're saying about that. That I do find that when I'm in circles where it's predominantly Black people or Black coaches or African American coaches, I find that if, like, I've gone out, just even though this is not necessarily, no, actually, no. I've actually taken a fellow Black coach to an event that was
Mm.
for coaches. And it was predominantly white people there, and they were very uncomfortable. They're like, "Oh my God, there's nobody that look like us here. It's just me and you." And I'm like, but I'm used to being one of the only Black people in many different circles that I've gone in. So I don't. It doesn't take me back. I don't feel uncomfortable. But I do find that sometimes when I bring people to events that they're not used to being the only Black person, they get
Mhm.
really nervous. They don't feel like it's an event for us.
Us. They don't feel like they belong.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and to me it's a learning opportunity even as a coach.
Mm-hmm.
So it gives you the
Mm-hmm.
opportunity to again have to put yourself in more uncomfortable situations to understand how to overcome being the only. So are you joining? I would encourage you to join more professional organizations that don't look like you.
Exactly.
Stretch yourself. Use your interactions at work to sit down and learn other cultures because coaching isn't first, it's not one size fits all. Just because you're Black
Nope.
doesn't mean you're going to have all Black clients.
Nope.
Like that shouldn't even
Nope.
want to be your goal. Like your goal, we're here to help someone become better.
Yep.
We studies have shown people who learn other cultures tend to have more diverse solutions.
Yes.
So right, you
Yes.
want to be around others. Like
Yes.
I want to learn from other cultures because it's more than one way to skin a cat.
Exactly. Exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
it
And I
really
do,
is.
it is. And I do find that most of my clientele are not people who look like me, which I find really interesting because I'm like, hey, you say you want a Black coach. Here I am. I know other Black coaches. So what's the problem? And one of the things, and this leads into one of the other things I think is a barrier for Black coaches is wanting to join professional organizations, wanting to become a certified coach. They want to look for the cheap, easy fix, right? Because you and I both know this is an expensive career. Trying to be a coach is not cheap, right?
It's like golf.
What?
It's like the golf.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's the
Yeah.
golf of an industry. You're right.
Yeah. It's the golf of social
Yes,
self-care.
yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. And you have to be willing to invest in it. And I hear so many Black coaches who are trying to come into the industry, it costs so much. Oh, well, I can get this $20 Udemy coaching course. And I'm like, but
Hmm.
baby, are you really learning what you need to facilitate the coaching process? Or, oh my God, it could cost $400 to be part of an industry organization. I'm like, but did you know how many tools you learn and get access to, what kind of training is available to you? A lot of it can be free, because you are part of a member. I'm like, there's so much you get for that investment that you can then get a return on your investment. Like we it'll make the difference between you charging $10 for a coaching session and $100 for a coaching session. Like you'll get it back because you're investing in yourself. And I find that when I'm mentoring coaches, that's kind of like it's like, babe, you got to put money aside to do this. Like,
That
what do you
again,
say to that?
it's does the novice coach understand the industry that you're coming in?
Mhm.
Again, this isn't just coaching, this is self-help. So people are willing to invest in themselves, but in order to become their best self, they're looking for the center of excellence, which
Mhm.
is the coach.
Right, 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 right,
So it's
right.
like, again, do you understand your industry? And you can't be mad if somebody treats your services worth $10 if you only, that's what you're putting out.
That's what you're putting out. They
Right.
need
If
to
I
put it
come to you and
into
say,
it.
oh no, you've only been on Coursera, yada, 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 it's like, okay, I get it if you're trying to understand if this is something for me
Right.
and what I should be looking for
Agreed.
paid
Agreed.
services.
Yep.
However, once you put a price tag on it, you have to make sure you are of value. Like you have to value yourself. Like
Yes.
when you value yourself, you invest in self. But how, okay, so if you don't invest in yourself, how do you ask somebody else to pay you to invest in themselves? Come on, Pot.
Come on. Say it for the people in the back, because I don't know if they heard
Yeah, like come on, like how, like who does that? It's just like that's the first thing I ask new coaches. When is the last self
Yeah.
professional development you've done? Like what is that? What's the last book? What's the mentor? How many sponsors do you have? Because again, ultimately it's
Yep.
not looking for me. I'm looking to see, all right, how can I educate my community?
Yep.
How can I even go from mentor to sponsor? And
Right.
again, I have to show my mentor that it's investing. Just because I have a mentor doesn't mean that's the only self-investing I have to do. Got
Exactly.
to take it a little bit
Now
further.
take it further. And that's
Right.
one of the things that I appreciate about being part of the ICF, and being a member, being an officer of our
Mhm.
chapter, is that it you have to be part of professional. You have to invest in yourself to develop your skills. There is no if, ands, or buts. It's like one of the requirements even to move up the ranks and get your different credentialing. And I have found that because of it, it's worth it. I have grown as a coach, and I can better help my clients. You know what I mean? Because of what I've learned. And like you said, it does make the difference of how much you're going to charge for your services. And that brings me to the next thought too. The
Mhm.
messaging. Like what messaging do you think is lacking that sort of, I guess, prevents or removes that exposure from Black coaches or Black coaching businesses? And I ask that because, like I said, I have seen ICF, IAC, BCC, the other organizations
Mhm.
where the message is inclusive,
Mhm.
right? But they don't have enough inclusivity in their chapters or in their organizations. And it's like, well, we got the message out there for people of color, Hispanic, LGBTQ, men, which is there's lacking of men in the coaching
Mhm.
industry. So
Mhm.
the message is there, and I've seen it, but it's like, why aren't we gravitating it to it? So what are your thoughts on that?
I think it goes back to just conditioning.
Mm,
So we have to
mm,
understand that in our community, self-help isn't always looked at as cool or
yeah,
the
that's true.
thing to do. It's not what's happening or what's next.
There's
Right.
stigma associated
Is
with
so
seeking
thick
help.
in our
Yes,
community.
yes, that is very true. That is
Like so unfortunately,
that's a good point.
we are behind
Yeah,
other cultures and other coaches because of that.
I agree.
Yeah,
I
like it's
agree.
not an excuse, it really is the truth.
It's the
And then
truth.
at the same time, because of that, we have to also work, I think, 5 times as harder to even explain to our community the value of coaching.
Oh my
Like
gosh.
it's not talked about at dinner table.
No, and it should be. Well,
It
it
should
is in
be
my
dinner
house.
table talk
I probably drive my household crazy because I'm always talking about coaching.
because language equals access.
Oh my gosh. It looks like we have someone that's joining in, and I'm very excited to have them join in. I just accepted it, but we're going to keep going. I want to thank
Mhm.
our guests for popping in. We kind of just started the conversation. So, welcome. We're glad to have you. Um, so I think that is an important point that you just mentioned, because there isn't enough discussion about being okay to seek help. And my study, my research study was in help seeking behavior in married African
Mm,
American couples. And one of the things
mm,
that came out of my study is that the fear of you're weak if you help.
mhm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Or a lot of people of color, especially if they're coming in as clients, they feel like coaching is like therapy. And I spend so much time explaining to my clients coaching is not therapy. It is totally different. Matter of
Different.
fact, this coaching probably aligns with the Black community's belief in self sufficiency and helping myself and doing for. Hi Lana, thank you for joining in. We're glad to have you. Um, and I do talk about coaching from the angle of this is self-help.
Yeah.
This is you are showing your own strength. But so what message is lacking for coaches then? Like, how do we get coaches to, I guess, be more visible? Like, that's one of the things I'm really interested in trying to help coaches of color figure out. Any thoughts that you have on that?
Again, it comes back to investment.
Okay.
So in order for you to become more visible, you have to start stepping outside of your community that's within reach. When you start to step in, reach outside of your community, when I reach out to you and say, okay, Dawn, how can I go through you to join ICF?
Right.
So again, you're still within my community, but you're going to reach me past my community.
Right.
I'm going to come back with some different gems.
Yes. Make that
And
connection.
then also, right, that connection is made. And then two, I think we need to do a better idea of being able to even just explain our services. How many coaches don't have a elevator pitch? Like, bang, it doesn't. Elevator pitches aren't just for jobs. You're introducing a service. So I need you to capture it's just like a commercial. Just if we were watching Channel 7 and you got your 60 seconds, what you gonna say in that 60 seconds?
What you gonna say? Exactly. And I'm glad you said that, because that is in my 16-week and my 8-week program, we develop ours, well, I call it the 30-second pitch. You have to develop your 30-second pitch, right?
Yes, you
because
do.
You have to let people know what you do. And I can tell you from the programs that I have out there, one of the struggles some of my students have is they want to coach everybody. Like they want to, and especially my Black coaches, and I'm sorry, Black coaches, don't be mad at me. I'm not telling, the tea really, but I'm just being honest. It's
no,
like,
you giving them the truth. Sir, that hot tea, sir.
Understand.
Oh, it's so hot. I had to pick up some coffee.
Girl, what? And I'm like, listen, my darlings. You can't coach everybody. You have to be very specific. You have to have a target audience. You have to have a target problem that you are helping your client fix. And they're like, but I don't want to not have this person, and I don't want to make people think that I can't help them. I'm like, and I always do this analogy. This is all any of my students can tell you. I do okay, let's talk about McDonald's. We all know that they are the burger specialists. 1 billion burgers served, burgers and fries, and shakes. We know that's what they sell. That's the key brand. But I'm like, but they sell salad, and they sell apple pie, and they sell yogurt, and they sell coffee, and they sell pancakes. I'm like, dude, you got to look at the big picture. It's not about every single thing that they sell. It's about who are they really targeting. They're targeting middle class people. That's all they're targeting. That's all they're targeting.
I am so glad you said that. I don't think people really understand that. You got to give that to them again. Who are they targeting? Is it the burger lover? Who are they targeting?
Exactly. And this is what I talk about in training. And this is why people have such a difficult time, especially people of color, because they feel like that if by not saying something,
we end up coaching each other back and forth.
Love it.
And she does more community, I do more business coaching. So it works. She helps me sharpen my community knife, and I help her sharpen her corporate knife. But again, in doing so, even in doing that, we have to designate swim in our lanes.
Yes.
It doesn't, you have to swim in your lane. When you swim in your lane, in order to be an effective coach, you're coaching from experience. You are really literally pouring into someone some of the things that you wish that you knew at that time, so you didn't have to go through that obstacle
Yep.
or to face that adversity alone.
Yep.
So when you're coaching from experience, building it helps with building trust, it
Yeah.
helps with building respect, because our community real recognizes real. We
Yes.
understand if you're being fake, we understand if you're being authentic. The little inkling we feel like you're unauthentic is like, all
Uh-uh.
right, she a fraud. Did you know that so and so? And all it takes is just one of us to
One.
say it.
Yes.
And if that person is well connected, you're never
That's
gonna
it.
coach again in that
Done.
area.
Done. Done.
It's just not.
You're so right.
Yeah, it's just not. So it's like, I think one of the things that we do well is that we are authentic. However, on the other side of that, we are often told that whatever happens in this house stays in this house. It don't
Yeah.
go past the front door.
Yeah. 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 That's
Yeah, so people feel guilty. Like, how do I even go talk to a coach or talk to a counselor or go to anybody for self improvement
yeah.
without disrespecting my family,
Right.
without
Interesting.
feeling like I'm telling secrets?
Interesting. Interesting.
But somebody's got to be first so the healing can begin.
Yes.
So is that going to be you?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But see,
Right.
this is the part that a lot of people don't understand about coaching, especially I feel like Black coaches or Black coachees, right? Or Black clients, is that when, as a coach, we're not there to focus on, like you said, what other people are doing. We're focused on what you're doing. What do you want to do? How do you want to do it? And so the funny thing is, you're not even ratting anybody out. You're not even talking about other people, which is really interesting because all of the coaching questions, and as you and I know, and Ms. Lana, thank you for being here. As we know, as professional coaches, and this is the difference between getting a professional coach training versus doing Udemy and other little like not so credentialed type of coaching, is that you're not asking the why questions and you're not asking, well, how did that make you feel? And no, this is not therapy. This is coaching. Okay, so here's what you're saying you feel. What do you want to do about it? Here's what you're experiencing. What are your options?
What
What does
did
that
you do
really,
about it?
what did you do about it? Like coaching is so different and is very, it really does tap into who you are as a person. And I think that that's another reason why when I talk to a lot of people of color who want to be coaches, and I'm like, you got to understand that it's developing your ability to help somebody self serve, self
Yes.
train, self
Yes.
educate. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And in that it is going to be okay if you are not for everybody. I am okay that I'm not a coach for this person or that person. I don't fit everybody. Like, I
No.
don't.
Oh my God. I just posted for social media. I just posted for next week. One of my like little memes where I'm like, basically, long story short, is like it's okay if the client is not meant for you. It's okay, right? And if they're not meant for you, you can either recommend another coach that might, or just be honest and say, you know what, I feel like you'd be of better service with another coach that specializes in blah, 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 blah. And I've told people over and over and over again, I'm like, you don't like every flavor of ice cream, do you? What makes you think that everybody's going to like you as a coach? It's not a bad thing if you have a discovery session and find out that that person isn't for you. And I
But
think, go
again,
ahead.
you just gave something that's key. Are they even having a discovery session?
Oh,
Or are we taking on clients just because they happen to look like us?
ooh, ooh.
Like, are you having discovery sessions? Because again, that comes with formal training.
Yeah,
And in that
yeah,
discovery session, are you prepared to reach in your toolbox and say, you know what? You are not for me. However, Lena you know what? She's an ex. She
She's an
did
ex.
the
Exactly.
basketball. Da, da, da. She can talk to you
Yeah.
about these things. I
Yes.
can't coach you about that stuff. If you want to learn a little bit more about this, Dawn could definitely teach you about compliance and so, and how you can do those things for self to keep
Yes.
bettering self.
Yes.
It is okay to say, you know what, it is not me, but at the same time, even if I don't have somebody in my toolbox, I'm going to be honest and say, let me get back to you. And I'm
Exactly.
going to consistently follow up. How
Exactly.
many times are you at somewhere you network with another Black coach and they say, all right, I'm going to call you. And you're looking like, well, dang, did I get the right number?
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
they're not calling.
Right.
Like, are you following up? You just missed the lead.
Yes. Yeah. See, that's
Like,
what I'm
you
talking
just missed
about.
the lead. Like,
That's what I'm
you are,
talking about.
coach. I think we have to understand too that just like how we visit these people, I hear people always talk about certain Nova. I'm not giving away no free marketing, so I'm not saying nobody's full name.
Okay.
So
Okay.
certain
Okay.
fashion so and so.
Right.
So okay, I see that that entity is open 24 hours. Why are you not? Anytime that you leave your home and you interact with the public, you're open.
Yep.
You're a coach.
Yep.
Your open for business sign is
Yep.
on. So
Yep.
you have to act accordingly. You gotta be nice. You need what you're trying to get others to be, you need to project
Yes.
yourself.
Yes, sir.
This isn't an area that you can fake it till you make it. You
No,
need to
it's not.
faith it till you make it, but you
Yeah.
can't fake it till you make it.
Agreed. A
This
hundred
ain't it.
percent. 100%. Oh my God, 100%.
Yeah, this ain't it.
And so the next question I was thinking about is what message are Black coaches sending to the masses, to the industry? What are your thoughts on our message? I know, right?
because we're sending so many at the same time. Like, I
Yeah.
think the one thing that we even have to understand about ourselves, a lot of things start with us. We
Right.
are the creators and originators of a lot of things. So in order to be the first,
Mm-hmm.
we tend to feel, we give out so much energy, we tend to try to collect so many things. We need to just slow it down. It's okay to focus on this one area so you can become the center of excellence, because that's what you're here to do. And I think that's the thing that works so well between you and I, and that's the thing that works so well between me and Lena. It's like, look, I'm business.
This is
I'm
business.
opening up, right? I'm
Right.
opening up my, my scope, but it's okay. I am okay with being the center, because when I am out, I'm not only representing myself.
That's
When
right.
people see me, they see Dawn, they
Right.
see Lena,
Right.
they just see Black. So in order for
Right.
me to make sure that I'm representing all of us accordingly,
Right.
I want to make sure I'm giving a consistent message.
Yep.
And for me, that message is language equals access. And
Mm-hmm.
in order to do that, I want to be with other coaches who are driven like me, who are focused like me, who are educating themselves like me,
Yep.
because I know that when we're not in the room, we're giving the same message.
That's true. That's true. And
Like,
consistent.
we need to be
Yep.
consistent. I think
Yep.
sometimes we're too confusing, because those of us that are trained have to overcompensate stereotypes just for Black, and then
That-
stereotypes for Black untrained
Yeah. Yeah.
coaches. That's a lot.
You know what? It is. And as you're saying that, you're giving me a lot of aha moments in my own head. I'm like, wow, that is an interesting way of seeing that. Because those of us who are certified, those of us who are professional coaches, those of us who have made a career in this industry, we are carrying that weight. And when I talk to coaches who are not, they're in their heads, well, I don't have to do that. I don't see why I have to do that. I don't think and I'm like, but that's how you get out of this small box that you've put yourself in, and you see a bigger world and you reach more
You nicer than
people.
me, because when they said, I was like, but you feel like you could charge the same amount as me though.
And you can't.
Like what? Like what? Like what? You just told me all you did was take free classes. And again, I get it. There's nothing wrong with
No, it's
free,
not.
but at some point, in order to put letters behind your name, you have to invest.
Invest. You have to invest in yourself.
So I've paid this money.
Yep.
And the same way that I'm holding Karen accountable, why am I not holding Kim accountable too? Come on, Kim.
Come on now. Come on now.
Come on, Kim. Come with
Come
me.
on.
Because did you know that Dawn is our connect? Like, come on.
Let's do
and
this.
I think that's the other thing
this.
that we don't do, right? Like, how come we don't buddy? We have to start buddying more. It's like, let's be realistic. Only 24% of coaches in our industry actually are able to just do coaching alone and nothing else.
Yes.
Most of us are doing coaching because it's a passion, and we still have to eat.
Yes.
So we are still working.
Exactly.
So when you come into contact, whether it's mentoring, doing blogging, being a guest on blogging, like anytime you come into contact with another Black coach, are you making it as effective for them as you want them to do it for you?
Exactly.
And in order to do that, you got to do some more professional development is it.
It really is. And I'm glad you really said that, because that's one of the reasons why I do this show. That's one of the reasons why I try to do different events that I'm getting more coaches, especially coaches of color, in and go, we have to have a different mindset on what we're doing as coaches. And it goes far beyond just taking a free course and saying, okay, I'm a coach. Like, because you're messing with other people's lives. But also you're like, yes, but you're messing with other people's lives.
Yeah.
And you have to be able to understand what it means to be a skilled coach. And the investment is worth it, though. That's the part that I keep trying to get people to understand, is that it's worth it. It really is. And so that leads me into my next question.
Wait, before you get into your next question, just a real quick example is this right here. So there's 3 different coaches right now on the line who have different levels, but we're all here investing in each other.
Very true.
Like there's a level of humility in that. We don't have to stand up. I don't need to be the best. However, in order for me to get to be the best, I need to be surrounded by others that are the best.
Yes.
Like you don't need to be the smartest person in the room all the time. That's not how you learn. And this format is just that.
And see, that's how I feel, because I'm like, when I have guests like you on, and Miss Lana, thank you for being here. Like when I have other people on, I'm learning, because coaching, so many studies on this, y'all. Coaching is not just for the coachee.
Nope.
Coaching, do you know how much I learned as a coach? Me personally, sometimes I walk away from a session going, holy crap.
Now just imagine when you have another session with another coach. The one thing that I'm always reminded by Lena is everybody didn't grow up like you.
No.
And it's like, let me clutch my whole neck. My girl's like, okay, get me together.
Yes.
But again, that comes from training. She has to be trained to push me. I also have to be trained to be okay with being a coachee.
That's right.
Yeah, like that takes training. It takes training to be able to sit in that chair and listen more than I talk.
Yes. And that's one of the things that I put in my training program, to be honest with you. It's like, because I have a lot of face-to-face, like what we're doing right now. And like, I am teaching, like, this is the skill set. And it is important. Like, and I know a lot of people do, and again, I'm not knocking anybody. You do what's best for where you see your coaching practice going. But like, if you really want to make this a full-time job, like, you really gotta have that face-to-face instruction, that mentoring, that training, that practice. And that's what I do in my training program. And a lot of the coaches that come through my program are like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize that
this is real work.
This is work.
Like, this is real work. It's constantly educating yourself. You're a constant student, but it's not just sitting in the chair. You have to be active once you get the information.
Yes.
Like, you can't just sit on it.
You can't. And like I said, I'm nowhere near done. Like, it's so much. I'm sitting there, I've been like, okay, gotta get another.
And you're Dr. Dawn Reid. And you're nowhere near done. You know what? But like, seriously,
but
like,
I'm not done.
Like, and you're not done.
Nope.
As Dr. Reid.
Nope, sure not. Nope.
So that should
Nope.
say something.
Says a
Like
lot.
if you are the expert and you still feel like there's still more for me to grasp.
More.
And your doctor, and I'm saying that louder for the people in the back, because if the doctor feel like she not done, I know I'm not done.
I ain't done it no way, shape, form, or fashion, y'all. I'm sorry. I tell when people, my first day of class for my students, I'm like, so you decided to take this class? Well, let me tell you, darling, you're going to be a student for the rest of your life.
Not just in this class.
Not just in this class. This is like the first one little itty bitty level. There's so much that's up there. But this goes back into, how this kind of leads me into the next question. How do we increase the visibility of Black coaches? What do Black coaches think? Thank you, Ms. Lana. She gave us the thumbs up for those who can't see. Thank you. So what are your thoughts on how do we increase our visibility as Black coaches? What do you feel like we need to be doing?
We need to be doing more networking with a purpose. So it's like, okay, are you joining professional organizations? When you do go networking, who are you looking for? Are you looking for a mentor? Are you looking for peers? Or are you looking for clients? Like, I need you to network with a purpose. And even with that, when you are out there networking, please do not become the spider. And when I say the spider of networking is that one person, I get it, we're all nervous in rooms that we don't know other people. But when you get into a situation and you literally throw that web up and the first fly that comes by and gets stuck, that can't go nowhere. And it's not like they don't want to be there, but the purpose is networking. Right. I like you too, but let's do this together. Right. You work the room, I work the room. We come back at the end and say, you know what? I met Lena, I met Dawn, I met Keisha, I met so-and-so, and expand these networks.
I agree.
Like you have to, like we need to do definitely more networking with the purpose.
I like that. I feel that a lot. I really do like that. We need to have a purpose on why we are making those connections. We need to understand what we're looking to gain from those connections. But more importantly, what are you willing to give? What are you willing to give?
Thank you. Oh,
right?
I'm so glad you said that, because that's one of the other things that I often do is you have to learn how to give without expecting, like give without expectations. Yep. Because again, that means that you're coaching from a place of value. You're coaching from a place of authenticity. And when you coach from there, it's energy. The energy you put out is the energy you get back. Yep. So it's not to say never to charge, but sometimes, especially when you want to deal with our community who happens to be the least educated sometimes when it comes to self-help, you have to, it really needs to again come from a genuine place.
Right. That makes a lot of sense to me.
Like it has to, like it just.
That makes a lot of sense to me. Lana, I see you on. Well, do you have any questions, anything you'd like to share? And you're more than welcome to. No pressure. No pressure. But you're more than welcome to jump in and share anything you like.
I love this conversation, Dr. Dawn and Miss Atiba Page. I really do. I love you guys, what you're doing and how you're putting the word out there, especially for Black coaches, because, coaching is really, I like to call it a big melting pot. It's like New York in the 80s now. There's a lot of self-proclaimed coaches. There's your girlfriend type of coach. There is a business coach, there is a spiritual, there is the holistic, there is so many life coaches and people on, in the pot. And I've been a coach since 2010, and I kind of got swayed into coaching because I've been a social worker before that. And I kind of went from social work to coach. So, and I was talking about that way back when with Atiba. And so speaking of elevator pitches, it's really important. And I love what you're doing with your training groups because it allows people to have what we didn't have. You know what I mean? Yeah. When coaching first started out, I am ICF certified, and I have been a member of the ICF for years now, New Jersey chapter. Whoop, whoop. And, it's just, I've been investing in myself as a coach for years because at this point, I always tell my clients, and I just tell my clients all the time, be fearless in pursuit of what sets your soul on fire. And once you do that, that's the only way I can explain coaching. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it started, Atiba's my cousin, and she has really grown a lot, and it all starts with growth. That's why I could sit here today so poised and just be like, you know, because it's a lot of experience. So, I mean, in your training classes and even opening up to new Black coaches, I've interviewed, done a lot of interviews for up and coming coaches and people that wanted to come into the coaching field. And I'm like, girl, this is a lot, or, you know, whoever wants to do it, it's a lot of work in knowing yourself. It starts from knowing yourself. I started, you know, coaching, like I said, and I came back to the drawing board a lot of times and to further develop my practice and what it stands for, you know. A lot of people know me in the community, but it's just basically what I stand for. My coaching is just all about results, accountability, and making sure you can do the best. So my elevator pitch is I'll take you from 100 to 200%. And that's what people, you know, want in their life now. And we want results, especially in the COVID era.
Yeah.
So I am picking up a lot of more business folks. And I think that as you progress and get better in your craft and, you know, your niche, or, you know, whatever wording that you choose to use, you will be fine-tuned. And it's all about being confident. Yep. So younger Black coaches and people want to go, you know, you see the people come out, you know, wearing the past Celeste Browns and the Peter Gages and, you know, Tony Robbins era. And people
but they're not
automatically
coaches, though. That's the thing that people don't realize.
Thank you. Tell it again, louder for those in the back. Yeah.
They're motivated.
Really, they started off kind of. So that's what I mean. There's so many different ways of what people think that coaching is.
Time out. That's the other thing. Understanding your industry, because they really are a motivational speaker. And the only reason why I can stand on that, because I am a international Toastmaster. I know that that's how they got their start. It's totally different training than what you go through with the ICF.
Yeah, it totally is.
But that's
because they're gonna pump you up, but are they gonna hold you accountable?
Right.
No, that's why they've become millionaires and kind of set the tone. And that's why I said you have to know what kind of coach that you want to be and what niche, because people see that and they automatically gravitate towards those highlighted people. Yes. But there's so many different coaches on different levels that are more spiritual and more effective. I mean, these people have, it's all really about being effective in who you are to your clients. I mean, I have the, you know, best clients, but do we really want to hang on to our clients? Are you really being effective? Right. So when you build your brand, you have to realize when you as a coach have to let go. Yeah. So as I digress, I go back to talking about you guys and how this is just such a wonderful platform for young coaches and Black coaches and anybody who wants to further develop themselves in life. You guys have been dropping some jewels. I'm glad I had the opportunity to check you guys out. In the middle of my crazy Sunday. I'm always fine-tuning myself as I speak. I'm creating some homework for my clients.
Yeah, but you know what? I think you dropped like a really, really, really great point with just the fine-tuning. Yep. Because again, it's how do you ask someone how do you hold somebody else accountable for not wanting to pay your service fee to invest in themselves if you're not believing, confidence, and investing in yourself?
Agreed.
Oh, they gonna pay right now. Oh yeah, they gonna pay because they, you know why they're gonna pay? Because like I said, that I have results. Sharpen Minds is all about results and making sure there's some type of solution based to your issue. You know, that's why people tend to sometimes mix up therapists. But as soon as my clients start talking about the past, I say, you on the wrong avenue, sister girl. You better switch over because we're moving forward. And that's when a coach needs to know how to shift. So that's important to always let people know. And my therapist friends actually recommend me. And, you know, as being coaches, we're not always received in the, you know, therapy world, you know, and you know what?
But we have
to learn to coexist because we want to help people.
Right. And that's why one of the things I say with Black coaches too, and especially if you're dealing with the Black population, is that we are not ones to go to therapy. We
No.
don't want to hear about therapy. You're not digging in my brain, and I don't necessarily want to deal with the past. And I think that for coaches, especially Black coaches, coaching Black coachees, I think this is a tool that would really change how we see ourselves and how we move forward when we're challenged by certain things in life. Because the beauty about coaching is not about the past. It's about, okay, here's where you are. What do you want to do to go forward? How do you want to go forward? And there's no right or wrong answer. The answer is good because this is what you want to do. And if you're committed to it, I'm gonna help you get there. And that is something that I think coaches need to understand. And this is why I think that coaching is phenomenal for the Black community, because it takes away the something is wrong with me. Because therapy focuses on the dysfunction of behavior, whereas coaching is like, ain't nothing wrong with you. You just a little stuck. We're going to help you get unstuck, just like unclogging the drain. We're going to unclog the drain to get you to flow. And that's why I love coaching. And I think that coaching is phenomenal for people of color. So that leads me into my final question of the night. What can we do to increase visibility of Black coaches? How can we increase our visibility?
So I actually wrote down a couple of bullet points just for this.
Awesome.
Because these are just some of the things that help me get to where I am. So again, I personalize my networking experience. So again, networking with the purpose. Yeah. When I did invite someone to a coffee chat, I would always let them know how we were connected. So Dawn from ICF Coaching told me to follow up with you. But then at the end of that conversation, I'm also going to ask you, who do you recommend I keep continuing this conversation with outside of yourself? Yeah. During that time, it's not only about you, it should be a two-way conversation. So don't use the whole time to talk about yourself. Because the goal is to always, learning doesn't always have to be formal training. Participating in effective, thoughtful discussions is also learning. Yes. So one of the things that I want us to do, please, what else do you do besides coaching? Are you blogging? Are you public speaking? Are you giving out free info sessions? Are you guest blogging? Are you hosting webinars? And where can I find your ebook?
Exactly.
Like there's so many other ways to get in front of clients. Like just please. But while you're doing it, you got to be nice. And it can't be a phony nice. Like I need you to talk to your clients. I think one of the things that we are often taught as Black people is treat people how you want to be treated.
True.
You need to treat people how they want to be treated, but just add some accountability as a coach.
Yes. Yes.
So I'm always going to speak with you with respect, because again, respect is earned. This is not a chastising situation. I'm going to treat you how you want to be treated. Your future self wants to be treated, because in order for me to be talking and get to your future self, there's going to be some accountability. So when I say, Lena, you said this week you was going to bring me X, Y, and Z, it's not disrespectful. It's literally accountability.
Right. Right.
It's just like I'm working your best muscle, which is your brain. And you can't pick up in this situation, the conversation and whatever the homework is your barbell.
Yeah.
Like, so I need you to work that. Like, do this homework. It's okay. There's no right or wrong answer. We're gonna talk about it. It allows me to see if your thinking is moving forward or if you're stuck. I'm just here to help you unfreeze the middle. Like, that's really it.
I love it. I love it. Everything you said, I'm on board with. And I will also piggyback on that and say, join organizations. Now, I'm biased. I'm going to say join the ICF. I'm all ICF all day, every day. But I'm going to be fair. There are other ones out there.
You have to be fair, because we just told these folks that you can't coach everybody.
Exactly. and there's the board of certified coaches. There's the International Association of Coaches. Like, join these organizations. Yes, it's an investment, but they have training, they have networking, they have professional development. You can be an officer, you have opportunities. Like for instance, every year our chapter goes to the Philadelphia Women's Conference every single year. So that's an opportunity for you to network and grow and learn and meet people. So it's like there's so many things that you can do. And it starts with you have to make yourself visible. You have to be willing to join organizations. You should be willing to become credentialed as a coach. And like I said, of course I'm gonna say go ICF. Of course I am, but BCC and IAC, they have credentialing processes too, and they are good organizations. I just happen to resonate with ICF. But join these organizations. And even if you are one coach there, when I joined ICF Philadelphia chapter, it was 2 of us of color. And now it's like 5 of us on the board that's color. So the whole idea is that go in, bring others in who look like you. You know what I mean? Like you have to be purposeful in being visible.
I love that. I love that I love that. You have to be purposeful in being visible. But it's the truth. Like again, and somebody has to be the first.
Yeah.
Yeah, like somebody has to be
the
first.
last.
Right.
I don't want to be the last. And we don't have to be. Because like I said earlier, I see where these organizations are really trying to be diverse and include different programs and different people from different sexual orientations and cultures. But we have to be willing to step up and step out. We have to be willing to join them and invest in it. Yes, it's a pretty penny, but I'm gonna tell you right now, it's worth it. I've gotten it back already when I've invested, like 100-fold already. And I tell people all the time, it is worth the investment. Trust me. So, see, the one thing that really drives me crazy with this beautiful opportunity to talk with you beautiful people is it goes so quickly.
It really, I was just like, oh my God, it's almost over. Like that went so fast. But again, when you're having when you're participating in an effective discussion, it doesn't feel like work.
It doesn't.
It doesn't feel like I'm in school. No. Like it feels like, you know what? It feels good to actually be around someone who understands my language.
Right. And
but again, that's investing in yourself to understand where can I go to get training that fits my learning style.
Yes.
And podcasting with a purpose brings you to, hey, all right, Dawn, I'm here. Like, let's get real, let's chat. I can really learn something today.
See that's the purpose of me doing this too, because I learned, like I'm learning, I'm getting so much information. And I think this is so important for us as coaches of color in particular, and for us to change our mindset about staying in this small circle. We gotta break out of that small circle and explore and learn and grow and be part of these organizations and take leadership roles in these organizations. There's so much for us. And then take that information and bring it back to the people that means a lot to us, and go back into the community and say, this is what I've learned and I can help you. Because this is self-help. Coaching is self-help. You know what I mean? So, oh my God. So here we are. That's it. we at the top of the hour. And I just want to again thank you. Is it Lana or Lena? It's Lana, right?
It's Lena.
Lena, okay. Lena, thank you for joining. Thank you for your words of wisdom. Tibia, girl, you know I love you. Like I
love you too.
I fell in love with you when you first came on to the podcast in I think it was December.
Mm-hmm.
So I am just excited, and we are like, I just feel like connected to your hip at this point. So what I want to just end with real quick is to thank everybody for joining in, for listening, and just to remind people is that right now we are preparing for the virtual conference retreat. Well, not retreat, but conference in October 15th and October 16th. So we are looking for a couple more coaches to be on board, ladies. And like so far, I have about 20 coaches. So we're looking for sponsors, we're looking for vendors. We have about 20 coaches already. And it really is to bring different type of messages and training and information to the masses so that they can understand the coaching industry. So I'm excited. And right now is pre-registration. It's only like the lowest price is $49 if you're doing it as a group, and $69 as an individual. And it's just gonna get more from there. Like I don't do the backwards thing. I do look, you get on early, it's cheap. The closer you get to the event, it's gonna cost you a heck of a lot more money. But so far we have about 20 coaches, and I am really excited. And there's going to be networking and everything. So this is the time. Everyone sign up, reidreadycoaching.com. And I'll leave the link in the chat so that people can see it when they register, when I do the description. So you guys are more than welcome. If you're interested in being coaches, I would love to have you. And I can definitely send you the information. And
send me the info.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, I'm going to send you the info. And as always, I want to thank you for tuning in. And please, how can people find you, Tibia? How can they find you?
So I am on LinkedIn, so you can find me at Tiba Page, and then my website is being refreshed because what we talked about in December is constantly updating your training.
Yep. So
chroniccuties.com. And then I'm also a special guest blogger at sharpenmindsworld.com too.
Love it. Love it.
Please. I'm going to also be donating my services to Dawn. So if you need me to blog, I got you, girl.
Oh, glad to hear it. We will definitely connect on that. Because as everybody know, I'm on Psychology Today. So I would love to connect and do some collab work and get you out there on Psychology Today. There you go. See, that's what this is about, y'all. Gotta connect. Yeah. So I want to thank you guys so much. And you know what? Lena, please tell us who you are. Like, where can people find you? People who come on here, even if you come on here live and you can't come here as an audience participant, since you're here, I want people to know who you are and where they can find you.
Thanks. That's wonderful. So I am Coach Lena, and you can find me at sharpenminds.com. We're all over. You can Google Coach Lena Whitehead. That's Lena spelled like Dana. I am a best-selling children's author, so you can find me on Amazon. You can find me all over the net in various capacities under Sharpen Minds.
Love it! So please, all of those who are in listening ears, check out my amazing guests and audience who come on. And again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Thank you for this great dialogue. I'm excited. I hope you guys are excited. And so please check us out next month, where we're going to be talking about being understood and how we as coaches can learn how to understand our clients a lot better so that we can really facilitate that coaching process by not being stuck on what question we're going to ask them, but be more curious about who they are and what they're trying to achieve. So that's the next month's topic. And I hope you guys will join us next month. All right, everybody. Peace, love, happiness. Go out there and create awesome sauce for yourself and for others.